Hey you guys, it's your host Davion. Welcome to another episode of Conscious TV. You guys already know what we're here to talk about, and before we get into it, make sure that you comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, hit that all bell when you do so that you can keep up with all of my latest uploads. You can also email me at consciousetv@gmail.com. I do respond to all emails. You can also donate to the show at my Cash App, which is $consciousetv, and or you can PayPal at paypal.me/consciousetv. I also have a Patreon where we're going to be getting into some very deep things in the next coming weeks. Literally some deep things. That'll be at www.patreon.com/consciousetv. Let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, this is a requested video because clearly the Word Network is not on my mind. What's going on at the Word Network, or what is being called today the Plantation Network, is nothing short of what's been going on in dogma and religion: scandal, thievery, exploitation, salaciousness, the whole nine. This is the usual in God's house these days. I would more so call the church a abandoned property by God at this point. But before we get into that discussion, I definitely have to give some shout outs. And I know you guys are looking at my hair. I dyed my hair sunset orange last night, and when I tell you I am living for this color, I feel like I am giving Janet Jackson Velvet Rope era. I am here for all of orange. I posted in my community feed on YouTube what the meaning of orange was. It is symbolic of endurance and strength. Orange is the color of fire and flame. It represents the red of passion, tempered by the yellow of wisdom. It is the symbol of the sun, which in the spiritual community, the sun represents the ego self, the moon represents the subconscious self, the lunar self. This symbolizes where I am at this point in time in my life. So I do have a special guest with me tonight. It's one of my good friends, Max. So why don't you introduce yourself really quick, Max? Max is on a speakerphone, so I hope that you guys can hear him. He's going to try to project as loudly as he can and speak as clearly as he can as well. And if you hear him breathing, that would be these goddamn missile launchers he has as nostrils that just take off like the fucking X-Men jet every time he goes to exhale. But how you doing, Max?
I'm doing good. Hope everybody out there is doing well. I can definitely, I won't deny the nostrils. I definitely have them. So just let me know if they get in the way. But yeah, I'm excited for the conversation. I wasn't expecting it, but hey.
Now I know that
called, I answered.
Right. Now I know that you said that you didn't know a lot about what's going on at the Word Network. So in a nutshell, to make a long story extremely short, you know that George Bloomer has came out against the Word Network, which is now being called the Plantation Network, because him and the CEO of the Word Network, the founder, were in a text conversation, and the CEO text him a image of himself. The CEO is a white man, and he text Bloomer a image of him dressed as a pimp, and Bloomer and a few other of the black pastors behind him as his hoes. And this text dialogue went on for, I think, a matter of 11 days, I think, according to Larry Reid. And George Bloomer was in a lot of distress, basically trying to reason with the CEO to, get rid of the picture, that the picture was really racist, etc. The CEO continued to be taunting and add more people to the damn picture, further antagonize Bloomer. This all kind of just, led to the bleed out that we see today. Kirk Franklin also recently just came out against the Word Network. There's been a petition as well as a protest and a semi-boycott against the Word Network, led by Larry Reid and Prophet Bernard Jordan, who is Larry Reid's mentor, who's trying to get other black pastors to basically fall out and fall back from the Word Network. This is black church's version of the NFL debacle. So, do you pretty much get the gist?
I do. I was aware of that much.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because that's pretty much the heart of it. Now, I think this is a really big conversation to have, and I don't even want to have all of that conversation within one setting, because I feel like there are so many noteworthy issues here that are deserving of their own parts and their own conversation. Because for me, I see a spiritual issue, I see a racial issue, I see a moral issue. There's lots of different things that can be spoken about. I also want to speak on the spiritual part of what I see, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean. Now, you know me, Max. I'm very hard on intuitive people because I'm intuitive myself. I take spirituality, metaphysics, and the supernatural very, very seriously because it's such a big part of who I am, and I've been in the supernatural and experienced the supernatural ever since I was yee-high. I probably knew more about the supernatural at a younger age than I even did the English language, like before I could even talk. Let's just get straight to the fucking point. You telling me that you have a plethora of so-called men and women of God under this network, littered with prophets, evangelists, deacons, bishops, and preachers, prophetess, and y'all heard the voice of God tell you what to have everybody put in the collection plate every Sunday, but you didn't hear the voice of God telling you that you were working with a maniac and a sociopath and a racist, that you were working for a wickedness who was residing in the high place, also known as your CEO. See, I have issues with these so-called fucking prophets because we got a lot of self-proclaimed prophets in the church, okay? Ironically, most of their prophecies more so seems to be a tool that's used to bamboozle and hoodwink people out of their good, hard-earned money. Now, all of these recent tragedies, whether it be the shooting in Texas at Walmart, the shooting in Ohio that happened the very next day, all these school shootings, all these natural disasters, the Amazon rainforest was on fire, then a whole nother African rainforest was on fire, and yet we have all these self-proclaimed prophets. I'm confused how all these people are gifted and claim they have spiritual sight and spiritual ears and spiritual everything, that God reveals to them the mysteries and reveals to them this, that, and the third, but God never reveals anything to you that motherfucking matters. Nothing that has to do with any fucking thing. Where were the prophets when old boy ran up in Charleston church and shot up the 9 people? Because you claim you got the gift of foresight, but we never hear you talking until after the fact. We never hear you talking about what God is saying to the people until after Satan done ran up in some shit, done took advantage of some shit, done got the best of some shit. And now you want to talk about what God is saying. What the fuck you and God been talking about while this nigga been plotting to come up in God's house? What you and God been talking about while this white racist allegedly is running a whole network? And George Bloomer then came out and said more than the CEO just being racist, he's also spoken about the unethical business practices of the Word Network, kind of like how they've been selling these anointed things and anointed Bibles while knowing that people weren't even going to receive the merchandise they paid for. While knowing that some of the things that people be purchasing from the Word Network on behalf of these Christian leaders and pastors have came from Dollar General, have came from Family Dollar, while they're being sold for $20 and $30, claiming to have came from Indonesia, claiming to have came from Jerusalem and ABC, and came right from the Dollar Tree.
Well,
Make it make motherfucking sense. Because like I said, there's a whole lot of issues we have here in this situation. But I can't even get past and even get into the racial part of it.
yep, right.
Or even the fucked up business part of it. Because you're literally stealing from people, exploiting people. Because I'm still stuck on the fact that we got so-called anointed, gifted, righteous, spiritually, supernaturally talented people, and God wasn't telling them shit about who they was working for. God didn't tell them that they had a fucking master and that they were nothing but a fucking slave and that the word network was nothing but a goddamn plantation. And you set your ass up there and use your gift to tell people that God is saying somebody today is supposed to give $500. Somebody in the front 2 rows is supposed to give $1,000 gift. Donation.
Right.
God round here talking to these so-called people about everything other than anything of substance. Hell, I would rather call the news anchors and journalists of Fox News prophets rather than calling these so-called religious Christian prophets. Because at least them hoes somewhat inform us about things that actually matter. And don't even claim to be virtuous. Don't even claim moral authority. Don't even claim none of that shit.
Yeah, I think you started off on the right foot. Those are all good questions, valid concerns to address. Because I, for one, that's a question I have. Like, because even though these ministers are exposing the network, and by the way, it really falls in line with what's going on universally, because like we have been saying, it is the age of Aquarius / the season of exposure. So it's only, it's just in line with what's going on cosmically, that all of this stuff is coming out. I think it's a good thing that all of these things are coming out, being exposed. However they're being exposed, because, or at the same time, while these ministers are being used to expose the networks, the higher powers, so to speak, they're being exposed at the same time. Because for the minister or ministers to be apart, birds of a feather flock together, and if you're a part of a system, that's not operating in integrity, that, it's one thing to not be aware of it, but to come up, just because it happened to you, it was okay for it to happen to other people, but you didn't speak out about it until it happened to you. And it's one thing to not be aware of these things, but the fact that you have all this information of what was going on, that goes to show that you were aware of these things that were going on in the network. But you were okay with them as long as you were benefiting from it. As long as it wasn't, really affecting you. So that's not too,
but you know
not
what?
too really, yeah, go ahead.
This is what I'm saying. This conversation it's a lot of conversation to have in a conversation, because I completely agree with everything that you just said. The sad part about what you just said is how common protecting one's own personal interest is in the grand scheme of protecting the best interests of all. Because this same issue is widespread across corporate America. Working class people work for companies and work under bosses, managers, and CEOs and supervisors and team leads who are disrespectful, who are nasty, who show favoritism toward some employees over others, and nobody, even if you break it on down to the micro level, to McDonald's is working to stand up to the boss on behalf of another coworker. So I guess my question would be, how have we gotten here? Because something has happened within the culture. I wonder if people feel the price to be moral, it's just too costly. But isn't that the whole fucking point of being moral? Because when was the price ever not high? There's always something to lose when standing for what's right. And I'm not saying that everything requires a goddamn Martin Luther King march. You know, there's a way to do things, and there's a clever way to do things. But nonetheless, something has happened. Because while we expect these people, and we should expect them, we should definitely expect them, because to whom much is given, much is goddamn required. So we should expect these people we're talking about today to be doing the right goddamn thing. Because they represent too much of the right goddamn thing. They professing and proclaiming too much of the goddamn right thing. And they benefiting from the shit they professing in ways that everyday people not. Because everyday people don't have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people donating to their ministry every day. These black leaders, religious leaders, Christian leaders, yeah, the public should have their motherfucking foot on their neck, because they got privilege. And as you said, half the time it ain't time to do shit until the shit is close to home. Now all of a sudden you want air freshener, and now you expect the same people who you didn't give a fuck about telling the truth to when you knew this goddamn relic was coming from Walmart and not from some holy anointed river in Judea. You didn't think to tell the people that shit when you knew that shit. It was okay to keep that shit a secret.
Right.
When you knew where the items being sold by the Word Network were coming from, and they weren't coming from the places they should have been, you was okay. It was okay. And guess what? I have to side eye George Bloomer ass as well. Because, nigga, you sat on all this knowledge, and you sat on all this tea, and you sat on all this shit. What it seems to me is that you wasn't even going to open up your motherfucking mouth until that whole text situation happened between him and the CEO. When were you going to tell the people? What if the CEO had never sent that text? Was there ever going to be a boycott and a protest?
I doubt it.
Of course there wasn't. So as black people, and I don't expect us to resolve it here in this conversation, but my question now to the black community, because, you know, we the ones around here making everybody goddamn rich. We make the Arabs rich. We make the Asians rich. We make every other minority ethnic group motherfucking rich. So since we good for putting motherfuckers on, what has happened to us that has caused us to believe that it's proper, that it's okay to preserve yourself in exchange for watching thousands of innocent lives be manipulated and exploited?
To me, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else would see it this way. But to me, this actually also exposes why the church isn't operating in much power.
They ain't got no motherfucking power. Ain't no
Because of what's
motherfucking
going on
power.
behind the scenes.
Why them hoes around here talking about the motherfucking witches and the motherfucking root workers, bitch? Those the real men and women of God. You know who the fuck y'all prophets are? Them niggas are your personal psychics, not your prophets. Okay? All them niggas give personal psychic, quote unquote, prophetic readings.
Right,
Nigga,
right.
biblically speaking, prophets spoke to nations, communities, tribes. They spoke to bodies of people. Even when the sleeping prophet Daniel was personally requested to give the king a personal prophetic view of what was to come, what the fuck did Daniel perceive? He didn't perceive that the king would be married within 6 months, or that there would be a nice carriage and white horse being added to the estate and the property of the kingdom in 3 weeks. He prophesied that this nigga would lose the battle to come. The prophets always spoke about things of substance. And I'm not saying that personal readings don't have their place, but now what I'm coming to understand is that we calling the wrong people the wrong shit. If you giving personal readings, baby, I'm calling you a spiritual advisor.
Yeah,
you a psychic, bitch.
Spiritual advisor.
You a whole fucking, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Psychics to me specialize in the mundane. You only can see as far as the earth allows you. Prophets speak on behalf of heaven. They can see as far as eternity is concerned. And let me tell you, I'm almost don't even want to insult psychics by calling these niggas psychics, because I don't even think they that good, even as psychics. Even as fucking psychics. Where are these prophetic people's gifts? Where are their conversations with God when your gift didn't even tell you that you was amongst the motherfucking whoop hole? So you can't even save yourself. How the fuck you gonna save us? And we supposed to trust y'all niggas? We supposed to trust y'all relationship to God? We supposed to trust y'all prophetic insight? And y'all niggas didn't even know you was working for Lucifer's second born? What the fuck you supposed to tell me then? Because it's this type of carrying on, this type of scandal, this type of egotism, and straight up lying and fuckery and fraudulency that has made people walk away from something so beautiful and something that is genuine and true. But unfortunately, the gatekeepers of the church and the gatekeepers of Christianity got motherfuckers so church hurt up in this bitch. Motherfuckers are damn near atheists. Motherfuckers are literally one struggle away from just not believing in none of the shit. Because of these type of immoral, charlatan ass bitches.
Yeah.
It's already bad enough that as black people, we gotta be disappointed in our absent ass fathers. We gotta be disappointed in our stressed out ass mothers who had to carry the weight of doing a 2 parents job. But then you gotta go to the church and your spiritual fathers and fucking spiritual mothers are molesters and rapists and pedophiles and liars and greedy and fucking hypocrites.
Who can you trust? The church is supposed to be...
Who can you trust? I'm gonna tell you who you can trust. You're gonna have to trust all the motherfuckers the church told you not to trust. Trust that motherfucker who lived out in a hut, miles and miles and miles outside of the goddamn city limits. Trust that motherfucker, because that motherfucker ain't got nothing to lose and ain't got nothing to tell but the whole truth.
I was listening to this former psychic. It was 2 of them I was listening to. They were on the same program together. And, you know, they were talking about, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with Doreen Virtue. You know, I know she's very controversial nowadays, but even she was saying, she said that's one of the things, you know, that, you know, after her eyes was open, there's one thing she realized. She said, you know, the prophets in the Bible, all the prophets in the Bible, you didn't see none of them prophesying like houses and cars and you gonna get a man, or you gonna meet this woman in 3 months. But that's not what you heard about. You heard about they were given like rich prophecies, like worldwide prophecies.
prophecies of substance, prophecies that pertain to the betterment of the collective. There was a collective spirit.
It was causing change. Yeah, they were causing bringing about national change. That's what the prophets of the Bible.
I know why none of these niggas don't want to nationally proclaim nothing, because they know that they ain't fucking accurate. That's why. They know that they don't have no precision. They too scared to put their fucking mouth.
And then when they do that, and they miss, then they come back with a justification, they come back with an excuse.
Look, I've been telling people for the longest, y'all can say what the fuck y'all want to say about witches and sorcerers and whomever, root workers, hoodoo, voodoo, whatever the hell you want to call them. But y'all learned a few years ago when Brian Carn got his ass up there calling himself giving a New Year's prophecy, who the fuck he was following. The church been following the mystics in secret and getting up publicly and denouncing the mystic and the practice of consulting the mystic, while secretly at home on your Gmail and your Wi-Fi following the living hell out of the mystics, studying every word. Your library secretly filled with every last single fucking book. You done secretly been in consultation under alias ass names and accounts, getting consultants, getting training. Okay? Okay?
They got the psychic books under their bed.
Under their bed, under their mattress. Under their mistress's mattress. Under their mistress's bed. So, I say fuck the prophets, because these ain't prophets. These ain't prophets. They're not prophets. I am not impressed. Let me tell you something. I'm not even a self-proclaimed prophet. I pulled out my tarot a week before Walmart shooting happened and Ohio shooting happened. Okay? I went on my Facebook platform a week before both of those national events happened and prophesied that I had picked up on something very huge, something very distressing and scary and violent that was going to come upon us very soon. Okay? When Walmart happened, immediately I knew what it was. But I went on my YouTube community feed, and those who follow me know this. I said, I picked up on this, you guys, a week ago. But I said, this feels incomplete. And you can go and read the motherfucking status for yourself. I said, this feels incomplete. I said, because what I felt and saw was more... Now, this is dreadful. All the people who lost their life in Walmart. Horrible. But this was double the bloodshed. What I felt was double the violence. So less than 24 hours later, Ohio happened, and that's when the prophecy was complete. Now, I'm not even a prophet. Well, I'll say I'm not even a self-proclaimed. I'm gonna let the people decide what the hell I am, because I'm fine with whatever they decide that I am. I don't proclaim to be nothing other than a truth seeker, and I am somebody who knows for goddamn sure that I am in direct relationship to the Most High, okay? Yeah, sitting here cussing, profaning, and all, but you better understand what the hell cussing and profanity really is. Because it ain't all this shit that I'm talking right now. You better understand what because I know that them type of motherfuckers gonna come up on this bitch. He talking about God and that mouth. Yeah, bitch, the same mouth that prophesied what your conservative prophet couldn't, bitch. Yeah, that same mouth. That same mouth who ain't charging your motherfucking ass to protect your ass. That fucking mouth. Yeah, that profane ass mouth. You remember that shit when you want to critique this mouth. I'm gonna let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, something you said, that was something else that I recently heard, that, people be at it calling themselves this and that, but I think it was the same former psychics who said this. It might have been somebody else, but like they say, let people, put a name on you, a title on you, because your work was going to speak for itself. And I think most of the time when people like are putting because look at Jesus. Jesus was just Jesus. He didn't walk around saying, "Call me Bishop Jesus" or Prophet Jesus, Prophet. You know, he just went by his name, Jesus. And he said, "Who do you say that I am?" He said, "You're the Messiah." What did he say? He said, "You're the Son of the living God." That was Peter who said that to him.
I just said that in a previous video that your faith and your works gonna speak for them. The fruit gonna speak for itself.
Yeah.
The people gonna call you an apple because you producing motherfucking apples.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna call you an apple tree. They're gonna call you a fig tree because you producing motherfucking figs. The fact that some of these people are so hell-bent on marketing themselves as this and that, I take that as an insecurity.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, I feel like a lot of these, and I grew up in the church, so I've heard all the titles, the apostle, pastor, prophet, evangelist, such and such. Then they started adding more names to it, bishop, prelate, elect, and I'm like, I think a lot of it, I won't say all of it, I'm not going to paint with a broad brush, but with a broad stroke, but a lot of it seems like ego. A lot of it seems like ego to me. Everybody wants to be something or somebody. It's natural. Everybody want to be, significant or important, feel like they're doing something in the world, but actually do something in the world. Don't. It seems like the titles are big. Like, titles are big, and especially I'm not gonna throw us under the bus, black people, but especially in the black church, and even in the Catholic Church, they're big on these man-made positions, priests and Holy Father and all of that. It's big on just puffed up, puffed up. I think Paul, talked about that. He said, all of my knowledge is nothing. Paul was very intelligent, very schooled. But he said all of that is nothing, compared to, pretty much, when it comes down to it, compared to the anointing, compared to the Christ energy, if you want to go metaphysical with it. That's what it's all about. It's all about the power and authority that you're walking in. Not what you're calling yourself, but the works that you're doing. How the fruit that you're producing. And I just think we're more into titles than we are into the actual work of those titles.
But you know what that's indicative of, right? It's not the titles that are big. It's our egos. It's our flesh self. It is our carnality that is big. That's why we gobble up and binge off of those badges and off of those titles and off of those positions and off of the car, off of the clothes, off of all of that. Because our egos are huge. That thing in you that's thriving and led by the desire to be significant to others. There will never be anything that's more significant than your actual contribution to the world.
Right. Exactly.
It won't be your degrees, because some of you educated hoes swear y'all somebody. You got the same struggles and the same goddamn mess and the same goddamn hardship, and you eating from the same goddamn pack of bologna that every damn body else is. Okay? Your education don't make a goddamn difference. I don't give a fuck what Walmart you graduated from, what Kmart you graduated from. I don't give a damn what liquor store you got your goddamn master's degree from. Nothing will matter more than your contribution. So my question would be to the faithless, powerless, supernaturalist church of today. How are you relevant? Can you tell me how the church is relevant? Because the church ain't relevant to none of the civil rights movements we have going on today, whether it's the Black Lives Matter, whether it's women's equality, whether it's LGBT people's liberation. I mean, the church is not relevant to no conversation pertaining to nothing. Nothing. I mean, it's just there on the block every Sunday, just there. We see people come in and we see people come out.
Yeah, look at how many churches we got. I mean, in the hood. Just go to the hood, the most run-down hoods in America. And what do you see mostly? Church on every corner. And they have the most drug-infested, prostitution-ridden,
and the
gang violence.
And the church got the audacity to tell the homeless person in that neighborhood and the prostitute and the crackhead of that neighborhood to find them somewhere else to post.
Yeah.
Because they making the property look bad and they scaring these God-fearing people coming into the sanctuary. Make motherfucking sense. Now let me tell you, I really don't want to come off as somebody who hates the goddamn church. At the same time, my hate for the church is rooted in my empathy toward the people who are hurt and abandoned and abused and taken advantage of by the fucking church. And I don't give a fuck if this video doesn't sit well with the ego of Christianity. I don't give a fuck if this commentary doesn't sit well with the ego of the current gatekeepers of Christianity. Fuck you niggas. Fuck you niggas. Fuck you niggas. Fuck you niggas. Fuck your bishop title. Fuck your archbishop title. Fuck your prophetic title. Fuck your minister title. Fuck your degrees. Fuck your education. Because you ain't nothing but a fucked out, fucked up, trifling ass Negro. And I go for the niggas and the bitches of the church who sit in high places.
Ooh, you gonna upset some people today.
Fuck you niggas. Unsubscribe from my shit. Get the fuck up off my shit. Be that upset. Be upset enough to get your ass up off my shit. Don't be mad without purpose and a plan. Be mad with the intention of refuting what the fuck I'm saying here. Be that mad.
Yeah.
Fuck you niggas.
But you know what? This boycott they have going on, for whatever reason, which I believe you will agree, because we talked about this briefly. Whatever the reason, however it happened, it might happen for the wrong reasons, but however it happened I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that it's fine.
Boycott the religion of Christianity so we can finally get to the spirituality of Christianity. Let's boycott that shit. Because what we coming to find out through all these people, through all the scandal in the church, and all these people who now talking about why they left the church 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 80 years ago, is that we all have been sold a standard that nobody was actually living the fuck up to.
Yeah, very true.
Grandma been fucking with her skirt up. Granddaddy been fucking with his pants down. Deacon been a goddamn Rolling Stone. The prophet been prophesying his way right in between you and your motherfucking wife when you on vacation. And he right there on the living room couch with her, parting her Red Seas with his rod. always been the shenanigans of religion. The only difference between our generation and previous generations, like our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation, is that I know I'm looking like I'm transfiguring and shit. Maybe I am. It is what it is. It's the glow of the Lord. We don't operate in strong respectability politics, and by doing so, it has defaulted us to being able to speak more toward the truth. Because our parents and their parents and their parents was always concerned about the image. Don't say, speak, do anything that will bring shame to the family or to the church. So whatever the fuck was going on at home, you couldn't speak about. Whatever the hell was happening to you in the four walls of God's house, you couldn't speak about because it would bring shame and dishonor.
Yeah.
That's what we were taught about what truth would do to people. It would destroy them. So we have so we are too ashamed to tell the fucking truth. Too ashamed. And well-meaning people taught us that shit, but they taught us wrong. They taught us wrong. We have a lot of fucking work to do as a people. This generation is I call it the demolition of generation. A lot of people scared of this generation because we tossing so much shit out. But that's the paved way for new wine. This old wine skin got to come the fuck down. It got to come the fuck down to pave the way for the new revelation, for the real revelation. Because we can't continue to go forward in cancer, calling ourselves healed and whole, saved folk. We sick. As a people, we sick. Not just as black, as people, we sick. That's why I say this is a big conversation to have as one conversation. And we're not going to get it done tonight. I really don't know why my phone got me glowing. I mean, I'm glowing like Mother Teresa's pussy right now. Like, a bitch is completely transforming into a whole light being on this motherfucker. Like, I told y'all, anointed people be followed by signs and wonders, child. I don't know what the hell going on. A bitch is literally lit up, girl. Like, if you could see me right now, Max, I look like Mother Mary's tampon. What are your lasting remarks?
I want to say this. Whenever there's transition, we aren't going to do it perfectly. I heard someone say that just today. We aren't going to do everything perfectly. There's going to be mistakes because we're transitioning. And even transformation can be very painful and dark. And I think that's where we are. That's why you talked about the wineskins. That's why it's the season of exposure, because the skin is being ripped off. You know, the skin is being ripped off, and we're getting to see all the tendons and the veins and all of that, because we gotta heal it. We gotta heal it. And I also say this: prophecy. The Bible says that prophecy. As far when it speaks about prophecy, it says we see in part and we know in part. So I won't give quote unquote prophets or whoever men and women got too much grief, because psychics are no different. They just have different terminology, but they all see in part and know in part. We all see in part and know in part. Nobody knows everything. Nobody has the whole picture. And there are some, there may be few and far between, but there are some men and women of God out there who are very integral, and they live what they preach.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I just hate that so much of that has gotten lost in the sauce of those who have abused it. And that's why the church is emptying out, because this generation behind us is not going to church. They're not carrying on the legacy of the church. They'd rather be at home on their PS4 than to be up in a goddamn church. So church is dying. It's dying out with us. I think that we are literally the last remaining generation of the church. I think after this, church will be a thing of the past. At least this version of religion. is finally on its way out the door. And I have to say, I'm happy to see it out the door. Because I feel like all the shit, as you spoke about earlier, the age of Aquarius, it's the age of accountability. It's the age of tearing down old things and trying and testing them and refining them and putting them back through the rite of passages and seeing if they still will stand today. So everything that we've created is going through a rite of passage. And some of that shit is not making it across.
Right,
the Serengeti, it's not making it across. So we gonna have to literally, some things we gonna have to do that's gonna be completely new. It ain't never been done before. Some things we gonna have to patch up. It's gonna make it across, but it barely made it across, which means that we need to revisit it and revisit it immediately.
Yeah.
And then some things just ain't gonna make it across that rite of passage, period. It ain't gonna take no more than 1 or 2 goddamn steps and it's gone. So I'm happy to see, and I also understand why people who, like, this is all they know, this is all they have, why they're scared. They think something demonic is happening because the church is ending. The era of Christianity is coming to an end. The body of dogma is dying. It's not the body of Christ, it's the body of dogma that we're seeing an end to. You're going to finally get a chance to see what the body of Christ actually looks like.
Right.
Because what the only body we've known is the body of religion, not the body of spirituality, not the body of the relationship that Christ was offering and talk about. All we've known is the body of dogma. That's what we're seeing die. So it's a prayerful time. Plantation Network, I mean, boycott it. Yeah, I mean, to prove a point to racists. But this ain't even about the word network. That's what's so funny. The word network is the catalyst for a much greater conversation like the one we're having here.
Yeah.
Fuck the word network. Fuck the, like, all that shit is done anyway. It's done. It's dead. The only people who still making the word network rich are our parents and their grandparents. Like I said, this generation, all these motherfucking, I hope to God that for these current ministers and pastors and preachers and prophets and shit, I hope that they do get raptured. Because if they still around, when my children coming up, them gonna be some broke hoes. Them gonna be some broke motherfuckers. If these motherfuckers are still in business by the time my children come up, them some broke hoes, because this generation behind us don't want shit to do with the thing that has not served us in decades. Christianity ain't served us since Martin Luther King. And that's a whole nother conversation. And we damn sure gonna have it. But this is part 1. Max, any lasting statements before we get the fuck up out of here?
I think all that's been said. I will say that, again, I'm glad that this is happening. I'm elated. I'm excited. I'm glad that this exposure is happening and has happened. However, whoever has been used to do it, whether they were qualified or not, I'm glad it's happening. Exposing all of us. The age of Aquarius it has no respect for persons. It's coming. You got a belt, long belt. It's whooping everybody.
The great Saturn returns.
Right.
Well, Max doesn't have any contact information because he's incognito. So you guys will only be seeing him here when he's willing to take the stand. Okay? I thank you, Max, for having this conversation. Thank you for being here today, for giving your perspective. I definitely want to have you back to talk about the remaining elements of what's so wrong about this whole network, plantation network shit. Because like I said, we got a racial issue here, we got the issue of power, we have the issue of spirituality, spiritual gifts. It's a multi-layered shit sketty. It's a shit suit. And hell, just talking about the prophet's relationship to this shit took almost an hour to do. So I'm gonna have you back. Okay?
I would love to come back, continue the conversation. For sure.
Wonderful. Well, you guys, we're going to get up out of here. I know you guys will definitely leave the comments. Share it. Share it to every damn person connected to the Word Network. Put it on their Instagram. Put it on their goddamn Twitter. Share it. This is the conversation we need to be talking about, okay? This is what the hell we need to be getting to the bottom line of, because the Word Network is just a catalyst for something much more richer and dialogue to happen amongst the goddamn people, okay? So let's not get stuck on the Word Network, okay? Because the Word Network, it is what it is. But we the people, where the hell we going as a result of what we keep being showed by our society, by our leaders, by our religion? That's what we need to start speaking to and about. We're going to be here again for part 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? In the meantime, thank you guys for being here. Once again, Patreon, Cash App, PayPal, all donation links will be in the description box below and at the bottom of the screen. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Look, soon as I'm closing the video out, all my spiritual glow gone. The Holy Ghost just left me. You see how the Holy Ghost just such an attention craver? When it knew it had thousands of people looking, it wanted to have me all glowed up. Now there ain't nothing but me and you. Ain't nothing but my melanin left. Okay, see, now he back. Just because I'm talking shit, alright. Bye, y'all.